If you have some brain cells and you're not a fanboy of somebody with very low morals and ethics, then you have to now admit that he beats girls. And by the way, there's a lot of videos of him talking about beating girls. People downplayed it as though it's a personality thing. He likes to talk, he's a hot shot. He talks this way. But him speaking that way, combined with actual evidence, you can't ignore it anymore. Now you know he's actually a piece of shit, a low IQ, low life idiot who only seeks to further his power and feel good in life by beating innocent people. He's a weak man. There's no other way to put it. A weak man. Zero internal strength. That's why he pumps his chest and talks big all day to pump himself up. Child. Real man-child. Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Andrew Tate's a piece of shit. And here's why. But before I go there, let me just preface with the fact that I created an episode or two a while back where I was completely indifferent to him. I was arguing that he was not convicted of the crimes that he was being charged for. And until there is a conviction, or until there's serious evidence and serious proof, we can't jump to those conclusions. I didn't hate some of his true merits, which he was bringing to the global landscape, teaching children about masculinity, motivating lazy people to work harder, even though it was for a Bugatti. But, nonetheless, he was fighting the fight. But all of that dissipates in the face of what has transpired over the past year with him. I'm going to give you 3 reasons and 1 bonus reason why Andrew Tate is another low IQ idiot like the rest of them, and why we should be very wary of him. And if he's serious about running for the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, it could be problematic. One of 2 things need to happen. He either needs to pay for his crimes or he needs to apologize for them. All right, let's look at number 1. It all began with him proclaiming on X that Israel is committing genocide. Now, the genocide thing is a good litmus test for anyone to see where they are intellectually, morally, and ethically. I had said all along, and I continue to say, that find me one notable intellectual who clearly states that Israel is wrong and that Hamas is morally superior in all of what took place. You'll be hard-pressed to find such an individual. I'm not talking about dumb mother effers like Mohammed Hijab and these wannabe intellectuals. Now you see Andrew Tate. Look at the top 100 intellectuals influencing the 21st century. Notable. Find me one who says that Israel is wrong morally and Hamas is right. You might find one, and that might be the odd one out, the needle in the haystack, but it doesn't exist. Why? Because anyone with a quarter of a brain and just a little bit, a smudge, ethics and morality will admit that Israel is morally right and Hamas is morally wrong. It's so simple, so black and white, so straightforward for anyone with any thinking juices. So as soon as Andrew Tate came out on Twitter and said, genocide, I realized right away, oh gosh, I get it. He's a Muslim, so he's rooting for his team. But it goes beyond that, because he makes political comments, talks about the children dying in Gaza and how they don't have a fighting chance and all this different stuff. But here's the icing on the cake. He didn't just yell genocide and continue to do so consistently. He praised Sinwar, the head of Hamas, after he was killed. He praised him and called him a hero. The guy who masterminded the October 7th attack, raped, burned, slaughtered mercilessly innocent human beings. He praised and called that guy a hero. So as soon as I saw that, I realized, okay, you're dead to me. I actually started calling him out, and this is going to be the bonus round, but you know what? I'll mention it now. I started calling out Andrew Tate on Twitter, on X, before X shut down my profile, I was responding to his tweets on that matter. And some of my comments were like stuck on the top and they were getting tens of thousands of views and thousands of likes. I was just challenging him ethically and morally on an intelligent level, pointing out, I don't remember exactly what I said, but I was pointing out how what he's saying is essentially the opposite of intelligent. And his own followers were liking it. After doing that a few times, he blocked me. Think about that. The most Googled man on earth blocked the least Googled man on earth. And this is the guy who's been canceled, whined and cried about free speech, and was finally let back on to X or these platforms, whatever. This is the guy who blocked me for challenging his views on X. Think about that. So that happened. Then there was the fact that he was saying genocide and praising Sinwar. And I knew, okay, like whatever this guy has, and he might have some good qualities, but whatever they are, they get trumped as soon as it comes to real world matters, real morality and ethics. Well, that's where it started, but that's not where it stopped. Later that year, this was just in 2024, just a few weeks or months ago, he scammed his followers with on cryptocurrency pump and dumps on live stream. Mind you, this came after he said repeatedly that he would never touch cryptocurrency because it's for losers and it's this and that and the other. He pumped and dumped, meaning he essentially scammed his own followers, his innocent, daddy-loving followers. A pump and dump, if you don't know, is essentially when you pump up a cryptocurrency, you get your followers, if you have a big following. There was another big one that just happened that everyone's been talking about, the Hawk Tua girl. They also pump and dumped. This happens all the time for unsuspecting people who are trying to make a lot of money on cryptocurrency. They go for these shit coins. So basically, he gets a lot of people hyped up. Invest. So everybody pumps money in, millions of dollars, and then the main investor rug pulls. And essentially, he walks away with millions and everybody else loses, and the coin is forever basically a crap coin that is valueless. He did this on live stream multiple times just a few months ago to his fans. And again, this is after saying that he would never touch crypto. So you see what's happening here. Very, very low morality and ethics as displayed in the whole anti-Israel thing. Okay. He's a thief. There's no difference. A pump and dump is stealing, one of the big sins. He's a straight up thief. He stole from thousands of his fans millions of dollars. So he has no morals, zero ethics, and he steals. And he did it dumb enough to do it on live television. He also lies. Why? Because he said he wouldn't touch crypto, and now he's touching crypto and stealing from people. So no morals, no ethics. He steals and he lies. So as this continues to unfold, he starts becoming somebody that you can no longer ignore. You can't be indifferent anymore. He's the type of person that you don't want influencing anybody, because he's essentially influencing people to do just that. Steal, lie, behave immorally, behave unethically. And the final icing on the cake was just recently when the videos came out of him beating women. So before, it appeared to be allegations. And again, he wasn't convicted of crimes. People knew that these videos existed. The woman came out and said that it was role play. But anybody with an ounce of brain cell can see in the video that he's clearly abusing women, and they're not enjoying it. So, I'm one of the type of people that I don't care about the legal aspects of these types of cases. It's completely meaningless to me. You have to read people. If you can't read people, you have zero brains. When you see a video of a woman being beaten and abused and bruised, in one of the other videos, the woman's bruised, and then she runs into the room, and he says, you need to behave. And she says, I am behaving. And you hear in the pitch of their voice that they're genuinely hurt and afraid. That's not role play. You can't fake that. So if you have some brain cells and you're not a fanboy of somebody with very low morals and ethics, then you have to now admit that he beats girls. And by the way, there's a lot of videos of him talking about beating girls. People downplayed it as though it's a personality thing. He likes to talk, he's a hot shot. He talks this way. But him speaking that way, combined with actual evidence, you can't ignore it anymore. Now you know he's actually a piece of shit, a low IQ, low life idiot who only seeks to further his power and feel good in life by beating innocent people. He's a weak man. There's no other way to put it. A weak man. Zero internal strength. That's why he pumps his chest and talks big all day to pump himself up. Child. Real man-child. So these videos come out where you see him literally beating and abusing women. And these are just the ones that came out. Imagine how many, if he did it in the video like that so comfortably. And I don't know if he's filming or somebody else is filming. He's just so comfortable. Like he does this all day to probably dozens, if not hundreds of women. If those are the ones that came out where you see he's so comfortable and both women in both videos sound afraid, are afraid, and are actually bruised and beaten, the likelihood of him doing that to dozens of other girls is extremely high. I don't care if the woman came out and said it was role play. Meaningless. Use your fucking brains. So you have a guy here who has positioned himself up the social hierarchy to be in a position that he's able to attempt to run for Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. And he did so off of the backs of various other phenomena that was taking place. For example, he cried cancel culture alongside Trump calling fake news, and censorship, where other people were being censored. So he basically hopped on that train and took advantage of the fact that the conservative movement was very worked up about censorship, into elections interfering and all this different stuff. He played victim in a certain sense while being a role model. And again, the conservative movement was very anti-woke, anti those who are against masculinity. So he comes out with all this messaging that played a pivotal role in the timing that he was doing it. So he got a lot of people interested in what he was saying. They're like, hey, no, this guy's fighting a good fight. But all of that goes to the side when you have the clear evidence that you now have. A liar, a thief, no morals, no ethics, and an abuser, abuses women, beats women, probably rapes women. So now the allegations and the people, you have to believe them more because there's evidence that suggests that he actually is that person. So, is he redeemable? Possibly. The same way that anyone could be redeemed. Either he pays for his crimes or he repents and apologizes. One of the big things, I've heard him say in a little bit of long-form interviews that I've heard, or some of when he's rambling off, is that he doesn't apologize for the things he says and the things he does. Because weak men apologize for the things that they say and do. So the likelihood of him apologizing, saying, hi, I used to beat women. I was a lowlife. I have since grown and I've learned from my mistakes. Please forgive me. What can I pay you women? Can I give you millions of dollars to forgive me? Unless he apologizes and takes accountability, he should pay for his crimes. One of those two things have to happen. The whole purpose of sitting in jail and thinking about what you've done, you're supposed to pay for your crime. Alternatively, apologize. So if there's no case against him because nobody's willing to come forward, people are too afraid, people don't want the publicity, whatever it is, especially if he's going to get into politics now. And even if he doesn't win or get anywhere now, he's already thinking long term. Eventually, maybe he will. No problem. Take accountability for what you've done and who you've been. Granted, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that you're no longer that person. That was a person 10 years ago. That's not you today. Okay. Take accountability, acknowledge, and apologize, and make it good again. Help us believe that you're not a low-life piece of shit who just simply lies and tries to cover it up. Apologize. Tell us that it's never going to happen again and that you were wrong and all this different stuff. Make it really believable. Repent for your sins. Stop teaching your youth, the babies essentially who follow you, that this is how you're supposed to treat women. And now you have a potential for your future. But as long as he keeps behaving like this, and all this stuff is recent, this is not old. All this genocide, Sinwar is a hero, all that stuff is just now. So Do we want somebody like that in charge of a democracy? What, are we out of our mind? So I'm sorry. This is a clear example, and this is what I was talking about in the episodes previous when I spoke about him. Don't be a fanboy one way or another. And it's always like this, because there are innocent people who get charged with crimes that they didn't do. There's a lot of messy, unclean, and dishonest things that goes on in politics, in power, in media. And it's hard to discern when it's this or when it's that. But you can never be a fanboy of anyone. And as soon as there's clear evidence that somebody's scum of the earth, you have to call it for what it is. So unfortunately, I thought there was potential there for Andrew Tate, but all he is doing, as time goes on, he's just displaying more and more why he's essentially on the level of like Muhammad Hijab, in terms of like intellectually. Tries to be this big intellectual, but like gets like key things wrong. Like, where do you get your morality from? The Bible tells us how to behave. That is what we call, that is morality. So we have something to base it off of. So when he rolls around with his twists about marriage and girls and what a hero is and all this stuff, no. So you have to push back on that. Anyway, not a fan. Don't think you should be. Good morals, good ethics will outlive such lowlifes, such characters. And let's hope that he doesn't actually get into a position of power, because we see what he does when he has power. He uses and abuses innocent and unsuspecting individuals, like his own fan base, who he just stole millions of dollars from. Peace and love.
Leave a like and subscribe.